Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all today because you are here for a reason. You're seeking answers. You're searching for truth. You want to know how to identify the signs of bad intentions around you and protect your heart, your mind, and your soul from the toxic forces that can lurk in your life. You are in the right place because today we're diving deep into the shadows of human behavior. We're going to explore the dark signs God will show you when someone is harboring ill intentions towards you. The reason you should listen closely is simple. Life is too short to waste on people who don't have your best interests at heart. We cannot afford to ignore the warning signs when they appear. You need to understand that you are valuable, you are worthy of love, respect, and support. You deserve to be surrounded by people who elevate you, not bring you down. So as we uncover these signs, I want you to pay attention because the clarity you're seeking could change your life. Now, let's begin with the first sign, and I want you to absorb every word, feel the weight of it. The first sign that God will show you when someone has bad intentions is this: they manipulate your emotions and distort your reality. How many of you have ever found yourself doubting your own thoughts and feelings because of someone else's words? How many times have you questioned your own sanity after a conversation, wondering if you're crazy, if you're overreacting, if you're the one at fault? You see, manipulation is one of the most dangerous tactics people with bad intentions will use. And God will show you this, make no mistake about it, through moments when you begin to feel confused, conflicted, and emotionally drained after interactions with them. Let me tell you something, when someone is manipulating your emotions, they are playing a dangerous game with your mind. They want control, and they will use your vulnerability against you. They'll twist your words, your actions, and your feelings to fit their narrative. They'll try to make you believe that you're the problem, that you're not good enough, that you're sensitive, too emotional, or too anything to take the focus off of their own malicious intentions. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why do they want to do this? It's because they need power. They need control. And when they manipulate you emotionally, they feel stronger, superior, as if they're the ones calling the shots in your life. They thrive on your confusion, your insecurity, and your doubt. It's their way of building themselves up while tearing you down. But let me tell you something right now, you are not crazy. Your emotions are valid. Your feelings are valid. God gave you intuition for a reason, and when someone begins to distort your reality, that is a clear sign they are not for you, they are against you. The manipulation may start subtly, almost imperceptibly. Maybe they say something that doesn't quite add up, but you brush it off. They might make you feel guilty for something that wasn't your fault. They might tell you that you misunderstood a situation or a comment, making you question your own perception of events. I didn't mean it that way, they'll say. You're taking it out of context. They'll even go so far as to accuse you of misremembering or exaggerating something that happened, making you feel like you're losing touch with reality. In the beginning, it may seem harmless, a simple misunderstanding, but listen to me when I say this, it's not a misunderstanding. It's manipulation. It's a calculated effort to make you doubt your own judgment, your own experiences, and your own value. And if you don't catch it early, it can leave you feeling small, weak, and unsure of yourself. God is not going to let this go unnoticed. He will make you feel uneasy, unsettled, confused. He will plant a seed of doubt in your heart, not to cause you despair, but to open your eyes. The sign is clear. When your reality is constantly being questioned, when you begin to feel like you are always the one in the wrong, there is something seriously wrong. And that something is the manipulation of your emotions. Now, I want you to think back to a time when you felt this way, when someone made you feel as if your feelings didn't matter or that your concerns were irrelevant. Do you remember the tension in your chest, the anxiety that lingered long after the conversation? That's God showing you a warning. That's God giving you the strength to recognize the lies and the deceit. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust the inner voice that tells you when something is wrong. And here's the thing, manipulation is not always loud or obvious. It's quiet and it creeps in slowly. But when God reveals it to you, you'll feel it like a storm brewing in your soul. You'll know something isn't right and you'll begin to question everything you've been told. But don't let that doubt overwhelm you. Don't let it paralyze you. That's exactly what the manipulator wants. They want to keep you in a state of confusion, questioning your own reality, questioning your own worth. But you are better than that. You were created by a higher power to stand strong in your truth, to trust in your judgment, and to never allow anyone to take that away from you. When you start to feel your reality slipping through your fingers, when you feel like you are always second-guessing yourself, that is God's sign to open your eyes. Don't ignore it. Recognize it for what it is. Stand firm. Know that you are worthy of respect, that your thoughts and feelings are not up for debate. God is showing you the truth. Trust in it. When someone is manipulating your emotions, it's not about you being wrong. It's about them being manipulative. And here's the thing, you are not powerless. You have the strength to break free from their grip. You have the ability to reclaim your peace and clarity. Recognize the signs. Don't let anyone tell you that your feelings don't matter. Don't let anyone twist your reality. Because when God shows you the signs, it's not to make you feel weak, it's to empower you to stand up, speak your truth, and protect your soul from those who seek to bring you down. When someone manipulates your emotions, that is the first sign that God is trying to show you something is wrong. And when you see it, when you recognize it for what it is, don't back down. Trust yourself. Trust the truth. And never, ever let someone else control your reality. The second sign is they show you a lack of genuine empathy. Now, I know many of you have felt the warmth and support of those who truly care for you, the ones who listen without judgment, who show up for you when times are tough, and who parents or feel your pain as their own. These are the people who make the world brighter just by being a part of it. But here's the painful truth. Not everyone who crosses your path is capable of this kind of love or kindness. There are people who, despite their words, don't actually care about your well-being. They don't feel your pain, they don't celebrate your victories, and they certainly don't have the capacity to empathize with what you're going through. And this is where God will make it clear to you. He will show you time and time again that when someone has bad intentions, they will lack genuine empathy. They won't be able to understand your feelings, and they won't care to. But you need to recognize the signs and understand why this lack of empathy is so dangerous. Empathy is the ability to feel what others are feeling, to understand their emotions and respond with care and compassion. It's what binds us together as human beings. Without empathy, there is no connection, no bond, no love. When someone lacks empathy, you become nothing more than a tool to be used or a pawn in their game. Think about the last time you were struggling. Maybe you went through a heartbreak, maybe you lost something or someone important, maybe you faced a tough challenge that left you feeling defeated. How did the people around you respond? Did they offer their support? Did they sit with you in silence if that's what you needed? Or did they offer a kind word, a warm hug, or an open ear? Now, compare that to someone who was supposedly close to you, someone who should have been there for you. What did they do? Did they brush off your pain with a quick, dismissive comment? Did they make the situation about themselves? Did they fail to acknowledge what you were going through, instead choosing to shift the focus to their own needs, their own drama, their own life? When someone lacks empathy, they don't understand that your pain is real. They see your struggles as inconveniences, or worse yet, opportunities for them to manipulate or take advantage of you. These are the people who won't bat an eye when you're hurting. They won't offer you a shoulder to cry on or even a word of comfort. Instead, they'll minimize your feelings, criticize your response to your struggles, or make you feel guilty for feeling anything at all. And God will show you this over and over again if you're paying attention. It's in the way they dismiss your emotions, in the way they ignore your needs, in the way they act as though your pain is irrelevant to them. You might find yourself feeling alone in a room full of people when you realize that no one is offering the support you desperately need. That's God's way of showing you who is truly there for you and who is there just to serve their own interests. Don't ignore this sign. God will give you moments where you feel completely invisible to the people who should care about you the most. When they don't see you, when they don't understand you, and when they don't respond to your pain with compassion, that is a powerful signal that their intentions are not rooted in love or care for you. They may claim to love you, to want the best for you, but their actions betray their words. Their lack of empathy shows you their true colors. I want to be clear, this sign is not just about the big moments of crisis. It's also in the smaller, quieter moments when you're feeling down, when you're exhausted, or when you're facing a challenge. If someone can't recognize that you need their support, if they fail to offer a simple word of encouragement, or if they ignore your emotions because they're busy with their own lives, that's a red flag. You might say, but they just don't know how to express themselves. Or maybe they're just going through their own stuff. And while it's true that we all have our own battles, it's important to recognize the difference between someone who is genuinely incapable of empathy and someone who chooses not to show it. The person who truly cares about you will find a way to connect with you in your pain, even if they don't know the right words to say. They will offer their presence, their understanding, their heart. When someone is emotionally unavailable or indifferent to your suffering, God is showing you that their intentions are not aligned with your well-being. They are not there to lift you up, to offer you a safe space, or to walk alongside you in your darkest moments. They are there to either serve their own needs or to take advantage of you in ways that are hard to see at first, but devastating when you realize the truth. And here's the thing, this lack of empathy is not just a minor flaw. It's a deep character issue that can destroy relationships, trust, and even your sense of self-worth. When you are surrounded by people who can't see your pain, who can't understand your joy, or you can't support your journey, it erodes your confidence in yourself. You begin to wonder if your feelings matter, if your needs are important, or if your very existence is worthy of recognition. This is why it's so crucial to recognize this sign early. God will show you who has the capacity to truly see you and understand you. And when you find someone who can't do that, it's not just a sign that they aren't a good fit for your life, it's a sign that they are actively working against your growth, your peace, and your sense of self. They're draining you, not nurturing you. But there's another side to this. While God will show you the lack of empathy in others, He will also make you more aware of the people who do possess genuine empathy. When you experience that, it's like a breath of fresh air. You'll feel seen, heard, and validated, and that's exactly what you deserve. When you recognize that someone lacks empathy, don't feel guilty for walking away. Don't feel bad for protecting your heart. You are not responsible for changing others. You are responsible for guarding your peace and protecting your soul. You deserve to be around people who lift you up, not tear you down. People who genuinely care about your happiness, your struggles, and your growth. So if you feel that someone is consistently unable or unwilling to empathize with you, don't hesitate to put up a boundary. It might be tough, but remember, God has shown you the truth. He has given you the discernment to see past the mask of kindness and into the cold reality of selfishness. Trust in that wisdom. Trust in your intuition. You deserve to be surrounded by people who care about you in the deepest, most authentic way. People who celebrate your victories, who support you in your failures, and who feel your pain as their own. When you begin to see the lack of empathy in someone, understand that God is showing you that their intentions are not pure. And you have the right to distance yourself from people who cannot show you the basic human decency or love that you deserve. So keep your heart open, but keep your eyes wide open as well. Because when someone shows you a lack of empathy, that's your sign to step away and protect yourself. You don't need to argue, you don't need to convince them of your worth, you just need to walk away. Your peace is worth more than their indifference. Trust in God's guidance, trust in your own ability to discern, and remember that you deserve to be surrounded by people who truly see you for who you are. The third sign is they constantly seek to undermine your confidence and make you question your worth. This is one of the most insidious signs because it can be subtle at first. You might not even realize that someone is actively trying to chip away at your self-esteem until it's too late. But if you pay close attention, if you listen to your gut and reflect on your interactions, you will begin to see the patterns. You will start to understand that this person is not someone who is rooting for you, but someone who is actively trying to diminish your sense of self-worth. This is exactly what the enemy of your soul wants, to make you believe you are less than what you are, to make you feel unworthy of the love, success, and happiness you deserve. And they will do this by planting seeds of doubt in your mind. The lies they tell you may be subtle, but over time, those lies accumulate and become a weight on your heart. You begin to believe that maybe you're not good enough, maybe you don't deserve success, maybe you don't deserve love, or maybe you're not capable of achieving your dreams. But let me tell you something, God has a purpose for you. You are more than enough. And when someone tries to undermine your confidence, it is not a reflection of who you are, it is a reflection of their insecurities and their bad intentions. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, how do they do this? How do they make you feel this way? Well, it happens in many forms. It could be in the way they constantly put you down, even when they claim to be joking. They might say things like, you'll never make it, or you're not cut out for that. It could be in the way they belittle your achievements, always dismissing your successes with a casual comment like that was easy or anyone could do that. It could be in the way they make you second guess your choices, your talents, your abilities until you start questioning if you really are as capable as you once thought. This kind of behavior can be incredibly damaging because it chips away at your confidence little by little. And here's the kicker, the more you start to doubt yourself, the more you rely on them for validation. You find yourself seeking their approval, waiting for them to tell you that you're doing okay, that you're on the right track. But what they give you in return is not encouragement, it's silence, condescension, or worse, criticism. God will show you this by allowing you to feel increasingly insecure around them. You may notice that after spending time with this person, you feel smaller, weaker, or less capable than before. You feel exhausted by the mental gymnastics of trying to win their approval or trying to live up to their expectations. You might even start to feel like you're not good enough to be around them, as if you're constantly falling short. It's a toxic dynamic. It's an emotional trap designed to keep you doubting yourself. And it's not just about the words they say, it's the energy they project. People with bad intentions are masters at making you feel small, They have a way of looking at you, speaking to you, and acting around you that makes you feel like you are never enough. And they do it for a reason, because when you don't believe in your own worth, you become easier to control, easier to manipulate, and easier to take advantage of. But here's the truth: you are worth more than you know. God created you in His image with a purpose that no one else can fulfill. When someone tries to make you feel less than that, that's when God will show you that their intentions are not pure. He will make it clear to you that they are not here to lift you up. They are here to tear you down, to make you question your worth so they can feel more powerful. And that, my friends, is not something you need to tolerate. You deserve to be surrounded by people who build you up, who celebrate your strengths, and who help you grow into the person you were meant to be. You deserve to be around people who see your potential, not people who try to diminish it. I know it can be difficult to break free from this cycle, especially if you've been in this situation for a long time. It's hard to recognize that someone you care about, someone you trust, is actually doing this to you. But let me be clear: when someone continuously seeks to undermine your confidence, when they make you feel like you're not enough, that's a sign. It's a sign that they do not have your best interests at heart. And it's a sign that God is calling you to see them for who they truly are, someone who is out to diminish your spirit, your worth, and your light. God is showing you this for a reason. He is giving you the wisdom to see that these toxic people are not meant to be in your life. He is giving you the clarity to understand that you do not need to seek validation from anyone but Him. His love for you is constant, unconditional, and unshakable. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone, and you certainly won't need to seek approval from those who do not have your best interests at heart. When God reveals this sign to you, it's time to take action. It's time to distance yourself from the people who make you feel small. It's time to stop letting their words, their looks, their behavior affect how you see yourself. You are worthy, you are capable, you are strong, you are beautiful inside and out. And when you start to recognize the way someone's words and actions are designed to make you question your worth, you need to stand up for yourself. Don't let their negativity seep into your soul. Don't let them control your confidence. You are not a reflection of their insecurities. You are not a reflection of their need to tear you down. You are a reflection of God's love and purpose for your life. God will guide you through this. He will show you the strength to walk away from people who make you feel less than what you are. He will give you the courage to stand firm in your truth, to claim your worth, and to surround yourself with those who encourage you, who see your greatness, and who want to see you succeed. When you recognize that someone is actively trying to undermine your confidence, understand that it is not just a flaw in their character, it is a deliberate action to take away your power. And when God shows you this, He is not doing so to make you feel discouraged. He is showing you the way out, the way toward peace, and the way toward your true self. You deserve to be in relationships, whether romantic, professional, or personal, that empower you to be your best self. You deserve people who support you, who celebrate your achievements, and who lift you up, not people who make you question your worth. God is showing you this sign as a way to protect you, to help you grow stronger, and to guide you away from those who seek to keep you in the shadows. So take this lesson to heart. Stand tall. Walk away from the people who make you feel less than. Believe in yourself, because the more you believe in your own worth, the more you'll attract the right people into your life, people who see you for the beautiful, powerful, capable person you truly are. And always remember, God's love for you is unshakable, and your worth is immeasurable. The fourth sign is they manipulate your emotions to gain control over you. Now, this is one of the most manipulative and dangerous behaviors you will encounter from people with bad intentions. Emotional manipulation is a tactic used by those who seek to control and dominate others, using your emotions against you to bend you to their will. It is not just about making you feel bad in a moment of vulnerability. It's about creating a toxic dynamic where you feel like you're constantly on edge, constantly questioning your reality, and constantly trying to appease their whims. When someone manipulates your emotions, they make you feel responsible for their happiness or sadness. They make you feel like it's your job to manage their feelings, to cater to their needs, and to put them before yourself. This can look like many things. It can be the constant guilt tripping where they make you feel like you owe them something even when you've already given so much. It can be the emotional blackmail where they threaten to withdraw their love, affection, or support if you don't do what they want. It could be the false accusations, the playing of the victim card, or the manipulation of your sympathy. They might tell you, if you really love me, you would do this for me, or I can't believe you would do this to me after everything I've done for you. They will make you feel like you're the one who's always at fault, even when you haven't done anything wrong. This is a form of gaslighting where they make you question your perception of reality and ultimately your own sanity. Now, God will show you this behavior when someone is actively using your emotions to control you. You'll start to feel like your emotional state is constantly tied to how this person is feeling. If they're upset, you feel upset. If they're angry, you feel anxious. If they're happy, you feel obligated to stay in that positive emotional state to make them feel good. And the cycle continues, trapping you in a never-ending loop of emotional turmoil. At first, you might not even recognize that you're being manipulated. After all, these people often disguise their behavior as love or concern. They'll tell you they're doing it because they care about you, because they don't want to see you make a mistake, or because they want the best for you. They might even act like they're the only ones who truly understand you, who truly have your back. But the truth is, they don't love you, they love the power they have over you. One of the clearest ways God will show you this sign is through the feeling of constant emotional exhaustion. You might notice that you're always drained after spending time with this person, like your energy has been siphoned off, leaving you empty and confused. You'll feel like you're walking on eggshells, always trying to avoid their wrath or trying to appease them. You may even feel like you're losing yourself in the process because you're so focused on managing their emotions that you forget to take care of your own. You'll become hyper-aware of their moods and their needs and their desires, and you'll be walking a tightrope, always trying to keep the balance so they don't fall into a negative emotional state. But the worst part of emotional manipulation is that it slowly erodes your sense of self. Over time, you begin to prioritize their emotional state over your own. You start to make excuses for their behavior, thinking that maybe you're the problem, maybe you're the one who needs to do more, be more, give more. The truth is, they are using your compassion and your desire to help against you. They are taking advantage of your kindness, your empathy, and your emotional investment in the relationship. And here's the thing, God will never make you feel responsible for another person's emotional state. He will never expect you to carry the weight of someone else's happiness or sadness on your shoulders. Your emotions are valid, and your needs are important. You have the right to set boundaries and to protect your own emotional well-being. When someone is manipulating your emotions, they are taking away your power to make decisions that are healthy for you. They want to control your emotional responses so that they can have control over you, but you do not need to give them that control. God will show you this behavior through moments of clarity when you start to recognize the patterns and realize that no matter how hard you try, you can never satisfy this person's emotional needs. They are like a bottomless pit, always demanding more, and nothing you do will ever be enough. This is not love. This is not care. This is control. And God wants to protect you from people who seek to manipulate you in this way. But let me tell you something very important. You are not responsible for anyone else's happiness except your own. You cannot fix people who do not want to be fixed. You cannot heal people who do not want to heal. And you certainly cannot give your emotional energy to someone who only takes and never gives in return. If someone is manipulating you emotionally, God is showing you that they are not worthy of your energy, your time, or your love. Now, it's important to note that emotional manipulation doesn't always look like outbursts or obvious demands. Sometimes it can be very subtle. It might be passive-aggressive comments, silent treatment, or withdrawing affection when you don't meet their expectations. It might be the way they use your vulnerabilities against you, using your insecurities or fears to get what they want. It could be the way they downplay your achievements or undermine your success, making you feel like you're not good enough. When you start to notice these signs, that is God's way of telling you this person's intentions are not good. They are not seeking to help you grow or to build you up. They are seeking to control you, to make you feel small, and to use your emotions as a tool for their own benefit. God does not want you to live in this kind of bondage. He wants you to live in freedom, in peace, and in love. So what do you do when you recognize this sign? First and foremost, you need to trust yourself. Trust the feelings you're having. Trust that your intuition is telling you something important. Don't second guess yourself. If you feel emotionally drained, manipulated, or controlled by someone, that's a clear sign that something is wrong. You are allowed to step back, to set boundaries, and to remove yourself from the situation. It's okay to say, no, I will not be manipulated. I will not be controlled. I will not carry the weight of your emotions. It's okay to protect your peace and to walk away from toxic relationships, even if they are difficult. You deserve to be in relationships that nurture you, that uplift you, and that respect your boundaries. You do not deserve to be someone else's emotional punching bag. God will give you the strength to stand firm in this. He will guide you as you learn to recognize manipulation, and He will give you the courage to say no to it. You are worthy of respect, and you are worthy of relationships that are built on mutual love, trust, and understanding. When someone manipulates your emotions, God is showing you their true intentions. He is making it clear that they are not looking out for your best interests. They are not treating you with love or respect. They are using your emotions to control you, and it is time to let go. You have the power to break free from this manipulation, and you have the right to create boundaries that protect your heart. Remember, God does not want you to live in bondage. He wants you to live in freedom. So when you see the emotional manipulation, trust that He is showing you this for your protection. He is giving you the clarity to walk away from people who seek to control you, and He is leading you toward healthier, more fulfilling relationships. You are not responsible for anyone's emotional turmoil. You are responsible for your own peace, your own growth, and your own happiness. I don't let anyone take that from you. The fifth sign is they consistently create drama and chaos in your life. If someone in your life seems to thrive on stirring up conflict and confusion, this is one of the clearest indicators that their intentions are far from pure. People who have bad intentions often thrive on creating chaos because it allows them to manipulate the situation to their benefit. They are the ones who start arguments out of nowhere, blow things out of proportion, or get involved in situations that don't concern them simply to keep things volatile and unstable. Now, the chaos they create is not just about noise or loud conflict, it's more insidious than that. These people inject negativity into every situation, creating tension where there should be peace. They thrive on stirring the pot, and they enjoy the discomfort and stress that comes from knowing they are the cause of it. It's a psychological tactic. When things are unstable, when emotions are heightened, they can control the narrative. They can manipulate people's reactions, distract from real issues, and shift attention away from things they don't want exposed. This is how they keep their power, by maintaining control through confusion and distraction. You might wonder, how do they do this? How do they manage to always stir up drama and chaos, even in the most calm and peaceful of situations? It's because they operate with the intention to divide and conquer. They will gossip, lie, spread rumors, and stir up trouble between you and others. They will try to pit people against each other, making you feel isolated, making you question the motives of everyone around you. They might try to involve you in conflicts that have nothing to do with you, dragging you into petty arguments or causing misunderstandings that were never there in the first place. God shows you this sign by allowing you to see the constant cycle of dysfunction they create. When you are around them, you feel like things are never calm. There's always an issue, a fight, or some sort of tension in the air. You might find yourself walking on eggshells, unsure of when the next blow-up will happen. It's exhausting and draining, and it's a pattern that is difficult to break because they are constantly stirring up trouble and using your emotions to fuel their chaos. This sign is especially dangerous because it can erode your sense of peace. When you are constantly embroiled in drama, it becomes harder to focus on your own goals, your own growth, and your own well-being. You start to feel like your life is always in flux, always up in the air. You can't find stability, and you start to question whether this person is the cause of it all. And let me tell you something, God will show you that they are. When God reveals this to you, He is giving you the wisdom to understand that this person is not creating drama because of some innocent misunderstanding they are doing deliberately to manipulate, confuse, and control. The emotional turmoil they create is not by accident, it's by design. They are using chaos as a weapon. Here's the thing about people who create drama: they are usually trying to mask their own insecurities. Drama distracts others from seeing their flaws or their weaknesses. When they keep you and others in a constant state of confusion, they can maintain control over the situation. You'll be too focused on putting out fires, dealing with the mess they've created, and trying to restore peace to see the bigger picture. They know this and they use it against you. But God will also show you this behavior by giving you moments of clarity where you begin to see the pattern. Perhaps you'll start noticing that every time this person enters your life, everything seems to spiral. Arguments that were once few and far between are now frequent. People are divided. Relationships are strained. Things that once felt manageable now seem impossible. This is God's way of revealing that their intentions are not to help you grow, but to keep you stuck in a cycle of drama and destruction. When you start to recognize this is time to take action, you need to remove yourself from this toxic cycle. You have the power to break free from the chaos they're creating in your life. You deserve peace, peace of mind, peace in your relationships, peace in your heart. People who constantly create drama want to rob you of that peace. They want to make you feel like the world is always on the brink of chaos, always on the verge of falling apart, so they can keep you under their control. God wants to protect your peace. He doesn't want you to live in a constant state of conflict or confusion. And He will show you the truth about these people. They do not have your best interest at heart. They are simply using you as a pawn in their game of emotional manipulation. When God reveals this to you, it's time to recognize the control they have over you and to break free from it. Now, I know some of you may feel like you're stuck in these situations, like you can't escape the drama because it's everywhere, it's constant, it's pervasive. But let me remind you, You have the power to change your environment. You have the power to set boundaries.
And more importantly, you have the power to walk away from the people who drag you into their chaos.
God has given you the strength to make that choice. When you take a step back and look at the situation objectively, you'll see that the constant drama and chaos are not just bad luck, and they are certainly not a reflection of your life circumstances. They are a deliberate action by someone with bad intentions, someone who thrives on creating instability so they can maintain control. What does it look like to remove yourself from this cycle? It means having the courage to walk away from situations or relationships that are toxic. It means setting firm boundaries with people who thrive on chaos and who are always stirring up conflict. It means saying, I will no longer allow you to use my peace as your battleground. It means protecting your heart and mind from the stress and confusion that they are trying to drag you into. God wants to give you the wisdom to discern when someone is bringing unnecessary drama into your life. He wants to show you that this chaos is not yours to fix. You cannot fix people who are intent on causing harm. You cannot change people who are bent on creating confusion, but you can choose to walk away from them and protect your peace. When God shows you this sign, trust that He has given you the wisdom to recognize it for what it is, a deliberate attempt to cause chaos in your life. And once you see it, you are empowered to step away and create the peaceful, stable life you deserve. Remember, God is a God of order, not disorder. He does not want you to live in confusion. He does not want you to be constantly caught in a storm of drama and chaos. You are His beloved child, and He has great plans for you. Do not let anyone, especially those with bad intentions, steal your peace, your joy, or your focus. When you recognize the drama they're trying to create, have the courage to walk away. You deserve peace. You deserve stability. You deserve a life that is free from the manipulation of those who seek to control you through chaos. Now, as you go forward, remember that God will always provide you with the clarity and strength to recognize these toxic behaviors. He will show you the signs, and He will give you the wisdom to walk away. When you break free from this cycle of chaos, you open the door for peace, growth, and the freedom to pursue the life that God has intended for you. You are not meant to live in chaos. You are meant to live in peace, joy, and purpose. Trust that God will guide you and never settle for anything less than the peace and stability you deserve. The sixth sign is they exhibit extreme jealousy or possessiveness. Now, this sign can be particularly insidious and dangerous because it's often disguised as love or care.
Or when someone constantly exhibits extreme jealousy, their behavior is rooted in insecurity, control, and the need to possess.
This is not love, this is ownership. And it's important to recognize this for what it is, a toxic trait that can slowly suffocate your relationships and your well-being. At first, you may brush off the occasional jealous moment. Maybe they get a little upset when you spend time with friends or when someone else gets your attention. You might tell yourself it's just because they care about you, that they want to be the most important person in your life. But as time goes on, you begin to notice a pattern. This jealousy is not fleeting, it's constant, it's controlling, and it's growing. It becomes a source of tension and stress in the relationship rather than something that can be brushed aside. God will show you this behavior because jealousy and possessiveness are destructive forces. They are not driven by love, they are driven by fear, insecurity, and a desire to control. Someone who is overly jealous will always question your actions, your relationships, and your intentions. They will question why you're spending time with certain people, why you're going to certain places, and who you're interacting with. They'll make you feel guilty for things that are completely innocent simply because they cannot tolerate the idea of anyone or anything else taking your attention away from them. When someone is jealous or possessive, they may start to isolate you from your friends and family. They will create situations where you feel obligated to choose them over others, to spend all your time with them and cut ties with people who make them uncomfortable. And the worst part is that they will make it seem like it's for your own good. They will say things like, I don't trust them, or I just want to protect you. But what they're really doing is trying to control who you're allowed to interact with and what you're allowed to do. They are using jealousy as a weapon to erode your personal freedom and independence. Now, God will show you this sign by making you feel trapped, suffocated, or constantly on edge when it comes to your interactions with others. You'll notice that no matter how much you try to reassure them, it's never enough. They may ask you to prove your loyalty by cutting off friendships or contacts that make them uncomfortable. You might feel like you're walking on eggshells, trying to avoid the next outburst or confrontation. You may find yourself justifying your actions or hiding parts of your life in order to avoid triggering their jealousy. And every time you give in to their demands, every time you suppress your natural need for independence, they gain more control over you. But here's the thing, God is showing you this sign because He wants you to see that you are not meant to live in fear or restriction. He did not create you to be controlled by anyone, especially not by someone who claims to love you, but whose love is conditioned on your submission to their demands. This kind of jealousy is toxic, and God wants to protect you from it. When someone is excessively jealous, they do not trust you, but trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Without trust, there can be no real love, no mutual respect, and no peace. Jealousy is a reflection of their insecurity, and it is their way of trying to fill the gaps in their own heart by controlling you. They want to possess you, to make you dependent on them, and to limit your interactions with the outside world so that they can maintain that control. This is not love. Love does not try to bind you or restrict your freedom. True love encourages growth, independence, and trust. And I want you to understand something very clearly. Jealousy is not a sign of love, it is a sign of fear and insecurity. People who love you trust you to make your own decisions. They don't try to manipulate you or make you feel guilty for having other relationships. They understand that you are your own person with your own needs, and they support you in being the best version of yourself. God will show you the effects of this jealousy in your life. You will feel the weight of it on your shoulders. You will feel like you're constantly having to defend yourself, explain yourself, and apologize for things that are not your fault. You will notice that your self-esteem begins to erode because someone is constantly questioning your integrity and your intentions. You will begin to feel like you're losing yourself in the relationship as your autonomy and independence are slowly stripped away. Now, it's important to recognize that this behavior is not your fault. Jealousy is not something you can fix in someone else. It is a reflection of their own issues and insecurities. And no matter how much love, reassurance, or validation you give them, it will never be enough. They will continue to demand more because their jealousy is rooted in their own fear, not in anything you've done. You cannot change their mindset, and you cannot carry the burden of their insecurity. God is showing you this pattern for a reason. You are not meant to carry someone else's fears and insecurities. You are meant to live in peace, trust, and freedom. You have the right to have relationships outside of your partner or close friend. You have the right to pursue your own passions, to spend time with others, and to live your life fully. You do not need to apologize for having a life outside of the person who is trying to control you. The moment you recognize extreme jealousy and possessiveness in someone, it is time to set boundaries. You need to stand up for your right to be your own person. You do not owe anyone your time, your energy, or your independence. If someone cannot respect your autonomy and trust you to maintain healthy relationships with others, then they do not have your best interests at heart. Here's how God will empower you to handle the situation. You need to speak up. You need to communicate clearly that you will not tolerate jealousy or possessiveness. You have the right to set boundaries, and you have the right to protect your emotional health. If someone cannot accept your boundaries, then it may be time to reconsider whether they belong in your life at all. You must also remember that you are worthy of trust. You are worthy of relationships that honor your independence, that respect your need for space, and that value your individuality. You do not need to compromise your sense of self to appease someone else's jealousy. God created you uniquely with your own desires, dreams, and goals. No one has the right to diminish that. When you begin to see the extreme jealousy or possessiveness in someone, take a step back and examine the bigger picture. Is this person trying to control your life? Are they attempting to isolate you from your friends and family? Are they making you feel guilty for wanting to maintain other relationships? These are all signs that their intentions are not healthy or loving. God will also show you this sign through the feelings of discomfort and frustration that arise when this person tries to control your interactions. You'll notice that you begin to feel trapped in a relationship, like you have no room to breathe, no space to grow. You might feel resentment building inside you as the weight of their jealousy presses down on you. And here's the key: you do not need to feel guilty for wanting to live your life freely. You do not need to apologize for having healthy relationships outside of the person who is trying to control you. You are not responsible for their insecurities. You are responsible for your own peace and happiness. When God reveals this sign to you, He is showing you that it is time to take control of your own emotional and mental space. You are not meant to live in fear or guilt. You are meant to live in freedom, surrounded by people who trust you and love you for who you are. God has a plan for you that is filled with peace, trust, and healthy relationships. Do not let anyone, no matter how much they claim to love you, take that away. You are worthy of relationships that respect your independence, trust your integrity, and value your individuality. When you see jealousy or possessiveness, recognize it for what it is: a toxic sign of control. You do not have to accept it. You have the power to set boundaries, protect your peace, and walk away from relationships that undermine your autonomy. And with God's guidance, you will find the strength to stand up for yourself and live the life He intended for you. You are worthy of love that trusts you. You are worthy of peace. You are worthy of a life free from control. God is showing you this sign to protect you, so trust that He is guiding you toward a healthier, more fulfilling future. The seventh sign is they are always playing the victim. This sign is one of the most manipulative and subtle behaviors someone can exhibit. It's so deeply ingrained in their tactics that it can be hard to recognize, especially when the person in question has been in your life for a long time or if they are someone you truly care about. But make no mistake, playing the victim is not an innocent trait. It is one of the most toxic and emotionally damaging ways a person with bad intentions can control and manipulate you. You've probably encountered someone who constantly complains about how the world is against them. They always have a story to tell about how unfair life is, how everyone has wronged them, how they're just trying their best, but no one appreciates them. You may have found yourself sympathizing with them, offering your support, and reassuring them that things will get better. It feels like they're always in need, always in a crisis, and you are the person they turn to for comfort. But as time goes on, you begin to realize something. No matter how much you try to help, no matter how many times you offer a solution, they never truly get better. They always find themselves back in the same victimized position, unable or unwilling to take responsibility for their actions or their part in their circumstances. And that's when it hits you. They are playing the victim on purpose. This behavior is not about genuine hardship or struggle. It's not about experiencing real suffering and seeking support. It is a manipulation strategy, a tactic that allows them to remain the center of attention and maintain control over the people around them, particularly those who care about them. They use their constant victimhood to guilt others into taking care of them, to avoid responsibility for their own actions, and to divert attention away from their own shortcomings. By portraying themselves as a helpless victim, they ensure that people will feel sorry for them, will offer support, and will never question their behavior. God will show you this behavior by revealing the pattern. You will begin to notice that no matter how much you give, how much you sacrifice, or how much you support them, they are always in a crisis. They are always suffering. And every time you help them, you feel drained, exhausted, and even a little resentful. You feel like you're being taken advantage of, but you can't quite put your finger on why. This is because the more you try to help, the more they pull you into their cycle of victimhood. They will continue to pull you into their drama, using their perceived victimization to keep you emotionally engaged and dependent on them. The problem is that people who are always playing the victim never take responsibility for their own lives. They never acknowledge their own role in the situations they find themselves in. It's always someone else's fault: society, their family, their friends, or some external force. There's no sense of accountability, no desire to improve, no willingness to take ownership of their mistakes. Instead, they continue to wallow in their self-pity, expecting others to come to their rescue. And when you try to point out their role in their problems, they turn the tables, accusing you of being unsupportive or heartless. They manipulate the situation to make you feel guilty for even suggesting that they take responsibility. Now, you might be wondering, why would someone do this? Why would someone deliberately put themselves in a position where they're always the victim? The answer is simple: because it works for them. Playing the victim allows them to remain in control. It ensures that they have a constant stream of sympathy, support, and attention from others. It protects them from criticism, prevents them from being held accountable, and enables them to avoid the difficult work of changing or growing. It makes them feel important because they know that others are constantly worried about them, constantly giving them the emotional energy they emit. But God will show you this sign because He doesn't want you to be manipulated in this way. He doesn't want you to give your energy, your resources, and your heart to someone who is deliberately trying to keep you in a state of emotional imbalance. God has given you the wisdom and discernment to recognize that someone who constantly plays the victim is not trying to change. They're trying to maintain their position of control over you. They want to keep you in their emotional debt so you feel obligated to continue helping them, even when it is draining you or even harming you. God reveals this pattern to you because He wants to protect your emotional health. He wants you to understand that you are not responsible for fixing this person's life. They must take responsibility for their own actions, their own healing, and their own growth. You are not their emotional caretaker, and you should not allow them to manipulate you into thinking that you are. Every time you give in to their constant victimhood, you are enabling their behavior, and you are allowing them to keep you trapped in their emotional game. This can be particularly difficult when the person playing the victim is someone you love or care about deeply. You might feel guilty for wanting to distance yourself from them, but God is showing you that your own well-being matters. You are not responsible for carrying the weight of someone else's emotional baggage, especially when they are refusing to work through their own issues. And remember, it's not love to enable someone's dysfunction. Love involves helping someone grow, helping them become the best version of themselves, not keeping them stuck in a perpetual state of victimhood where they never learn to take responsibility for their actions. So how do you handle someone who is always playing the victim? First, you need to set boundaries. You need to recognize that you cannot solve their problems for them. It's okay to offer support, but you must also make it clear that you are not responsible for their happiness, their success, or their emotional stability. You need to stop enabling their victimhood by giving in to their demands for attention, sympathy, and help. You need to be firm in your boundaries, even if it's uncomfortable. Second, you need to encourage accountability. When they try to play the victim, gently but firmly remind them that they are not powerless. Encourage them to take responsibility for their actions and decisions. It's not about being harsh or critical, it's about empowering them to see that they have the power to change their circumstances, and that they can't keep relying on others to fix their problems for them. God will give you the wisdom and the strength to recognize when someone is playing the victim, and He will guide you on how to respond. He will help you set healthy boundaries and protect your emotional well-being, while also showing compassion and empathy for the person who is caught in this cycle. But always remember, your first responsibility is to yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give endlessly to someone who refuses to take responsibility for their own life. You cannot be held emotionally hostage by someone who uses their victimhood to manipulate and control you. As you begin to recognize this behavior, take a step back and assess the situation. Is this person genuinely seeking help and trying to grow? Or are they simply looking for someone to fix their problems for them? Or are they willing to take action to improve their life? Or are they just looking for someone to rescue them from the consequences of their own choices? These are the questions you must ask yourself in order to determine whether or not you should continue giving your time, energy, and resources to someone who is always playing the victim. Remember, you are not responsible for anyone else's emotional healing or growth. You can support them, but you cannot do the work for them. God has shown you this sign so that you can begin to recognize when someone is using their victimhood as a tool for manipulation. And He is giving you the strength to take action, to set boundaries, and to protect your own emotional well-being. You deserve to be in relationships that are reciprocal, where both people take responsibility for their actions and their growth. Don't let anyone drag you into their cycle of perpetual victimhood. You are not their emotional caretaker, and you are not responsible for their happiness. God has a greater plan for you, one where you can give and receive love freely without manipulation, control, or guilt. Keep your heart open to those who are willing to grow, to take responsibility, and to move forward in life. And most importantly, protect your peace and your energy, because you're worthy of a life that is free from the emotional manipulation of others. God will guide you through this. He will show you the path to freedom, to healthy relationships, and to emotional wholeness. Trust Him, trust yourself, and know that you deserve to be surrounded by people who are capable of taking responsibility for their own lives, and who will support you in doing the same. The eighth and final sign is they gaslight you and distort your reality. This is one of the most insidious, emotionally damaging behaviors that someone can use to manipulate and control you. Gaslighting isn't just a term thrown around loosely. It's a real psychological tactic used by toxic individuals to destabilize your sense of reality, making you question your own perceptions, memories, and sanity. If you are in a relationship or have a connection with someone who is constantly gaslighting you, it is a clear sign that they have bad intentions, and God is trying to protect you from the damage they can cause. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse that involves making you doubt your own perceptions, thoughts, and feelings. It is a strategy designed to make you feel confused and insecure and insecure. The gaslighter will twist the truth, deny facts, or make you feel like you're overacting when you express your feelings. The goal is simple. They want to control you, and the easiest way to do that is to make you question your own reality, so you become dependent on them for your sense of truth. Now, the first step in recognizing gaslighting is to understand what it looks like. Gaslighting can take many forms, but there are common behaviors you can watch for. The most obvious one is when someone denies things they have said or done, even when you know it happened. They might say things like, "That never happened," or "You're just imagining things," even if you have clear memories or proof of what took place. When you challenge them, they will act as though you are the one with the problem, not them. Over time, this makes you start to doubt your own experiences, your own memories, and your own instincts. You might notice that when you bring up something that has hurt you or upset you, the person doesn't validate your feelings. Instead, they respond with phrases like, "You're being too sensitive," or "That's not what I meant at all." They will minimize your emotions or make you feel guilty for feeling the way you do. This can be incredibly disorienting, especially when you're certain that you have valid feelings and concerns. But instead of addressing the issue, they deflect, invalidate, and twist the narrative until you are left questioning your own thoughts and reactions. Another common form of gaslighting is when someone twists your words or actions to make it seem like you are the one in the wrong. They will take something you've said and change the meaning or intent behind it. For example, if you express your needs in a relationship or set a boundary, they might turn it around and say, "You're being selfish," or "You never care about me." They may even try to convince you that you said something you didn't, or that you acted in a way that you didn't, all in an effort to make you feel guilty or confused. Over time, this constant manipulation takes its toll. You start to feel like you can't trust your own memory or judgment. You second guess everything you say or do. You become hyper aware of the fact that anything you say could be twisted or turned against you. You might even feel like you are the one who's crazy and that everyone else is seeing things more clearly than you are. This is the dangerous and painful result of gaslighting. It slowly erodes your sense of self, your confidence, and your ability to trust your own perception of reality. God shows you this behavior because He wants to protect you from this kind of psychological abuse. When someone gaslights you, they are not trying to help you grow. They are not trying to engage in honest, open communication. They are deliberately manipulating your perception of reality in order to control you. They want to create a situation where you feel uncertain, weak, and reliant on them for the truth. In this state of confusion, you are easier to manipulate, easier to control, and more likely to stay in the relationship or situation. Recognizing gaslighting is a critical step in breaking free from it. When God reveals this behavior, He is showing you that this person's intentions are not for your good. They are not interested in your well-being or your growth. They are interested in keeping you in a place of emotional dependency and insecurity where they hold the power. God does not want you to live in confusion or fear. He created you to be confident in your truth, to trust your instincts, and to stand firm in your beliefs. And when someone is trying to take that from you, it is time to take a step back and assess the situation. If you're experiencing gaslighting, you may notice that over time, you have become less certain of yourself, more isolated from your own emotions, and more dependent on the gaslighter for validation. You might find yourself apologizing constantly, even when you haven't done anything wrong, just to avoid conflict or to appease the person. You may feel like you are always walking on eggshells trying to figure out or saying or doing anything that might trigger their manipulation. You might feel exhausted, frustrated, and defeated, as though no matter what you do, you can't win or make things right. Here's the thing, you don't have to stay in a situation where your reality is constantly being distorted. God is showing you this sign to protect you. He wants you to recognize that the truth is not negotiable. Your perception of events, your emotions, and your experiences are valid. If someone is trying to convince you otherwise, they are not respecting you or your reality. They are using manipulation and deceit to keep you in a state of confusion and control. The first step in breaking free from gaslighting is to trust your own perceptions and experiences. If you feel like something is wrong, trust that feeling. If you remember something happening a certain way, trust your memory. Don't let someone else rewrite your reality or convince you that you're wrong about your own life. God gave you the ability to perceive the world around you, and that ability is not something to be taken lightly or dismissed. Trust your instincts. The second step is to set boundaries. If someone is consistently gaslighting you, it's time to establish clear, firm boundaries. Let them know that you will not tolerate manipulation or deceit. Make it clear that you will no longer engage in conversations where your reality is being distorted. Stand your ground and don't let anyone convince you that you're overreacting or being too sensitive. Your emotions and perceptions are valid, and you deserve to be treated with respect. Next, seek support from others who are objective and trustworthy. Talk to friends, family members, or professionals who can help you see the situation clearly and validate your experiences. Gaslighting is meant to isolate you and make you doubt yourself, but when you have others who can help you see things from a different perspective, you are less likely to fall into the trap. Surround yourself with people who support you and who can help you keep your feet firmly planted in reality. It's also important to document your experiences. When someone is consistently trying to distort your reality, it can be helpful to keep a record of events, conversations, and interactions. Write down what happens and how it makes you feel. This can serve as a reminder of what's really going on, especially when you start to doubt yourself. Having a written record can also be useful if you need to have a clear, factual conversation with the person about their behavior. Finally, know when it's time to walk away. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse, and you'll not have to stay in a relationship or situation where your reality is being constantly manipulated. If someone refuses to acknowledge your truth, if they continue to distort your experiences and make you feel like you're losing your mind, it's time to remove yourself from that environment. If you are worthy of a relationship where your perception of reality is respected, where your emotions are validated, and where your truth is not questioned, God is showing you this sign to give you the strength to stand firm in your own truth. He doesn't want you to be trapped in a cycle of confusion and manipulation. He wants you to walk in the light of your own reality, trusting your own perceptions and living in peace. Gaslighting is a tactic that thrives in darkness and confusion. But with God's guidance, you can break free from it and reclaim your own sense of self and truth. You are worthy of being treated with respect. You are worthy of relationships where your experiences and emotions are valued. You do not have to allow anyone to manipulate or distort your reality. God is showing you this behavior so that you can recognize it, protect yourself, and move toward a future where you can live in clarity, confidence, and peace.